Hey, he's got a touchdown pass.
Yeah, to the other team.
Um, What's up, guys? Episode 7 here. A lot of interesting stuff happened this weekend. Army-Navy game. Um, just an awesome battle between those two. Didn't go how I thought, but just salute to the servicemen. You know, it's a great game. And yeah, guys, how are you? How was the weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good. A lot of good college basketball, some good NFL games today. Pretty depressing day for Colts fans. Anthony Richardson, people who have backed him up for this whole season. Pretty rough to be a Colts fan today, but we move on. We focus on the pod tonight, and we got IU football Friday night, boys. Can't wait.
Mac, what were we sipping on today, buddy? What was the bourbon?
Nothing today. I just raw dogged life today, and the Colts me. So you can use the bleep button there. It happens.
Uh,
But this weekend was more of a Buffalo Trace weekend. Nothing crazy.
yeah, I understand. I mean, I don't drink bourbon, but I understand why you take a day off. But we're kicking off with college basketball, as we always do. We're always tuned into these high level basketball games, and we had a bunch, a lot of awesome games. Of course, the first one we're going to talk about is Arkansas, Michigan. I was on DP's couch. Go figure. We're watching the game. We had both team totals over, first half over. We actually had Arkansas first half money line. That one sucked, but just another high level basketball game, guys. I mean, I went after watching this game and I went and bet Michigan to make the Final Four, and that's just kind of like a valuable play right now, in my opinion, especially coming off this loss to the Razorbacks. It's impossible to stop those two 7-footers. I don't think there's a team in the country that is going to be able to consistently stop them. And the only reason, in my opinion, that Arkansas won this game is because they got hot from three, which they could not do in the first half. DP, we were watching it. What was your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, initially in this game, it was about 9-5 Michigan at about the 14-minute mark. And I thought all my bets were dead. I'm like, this game is gonna go off the rails and it's gonna end up in the 60s, could be the 50s. But then these two teams caught absolute heat. Michigan brought Will Shetter off the bench, and that dude was electric off the bench. He hit like four threes. He did take a heat check and almost went down. You know, that really brought a spark to them. Danny Wolf is Jokic out there.
Jokic, literally.
He's unbelievable with the ball in his hands. And I mean, just shout out to, Arkansas and Michigan. I mean, great game out of these two. I thought it was going into overtime. I lived Michigan with about 2 minutes ago. They were like plus 300, 400. Thought it was a good value. Almost ended up happening. But yeah, this was a great game. I like your Michigan Wolverines, to possibly make the Final Four, even the national championship game. I mean, having those two 7-footers is just a problem in basketball, and I don't think many teams can, defend that because no one really starts two bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that Calipari he wins a huge game at a new school, and I thought it was a huge win for Arkansas. And you're right, Vlad Golden, Danny Wolf, those guys are studs down there for Michigan. I watched them on the road at Wisconsin, and they impressed me. But something that stands out about this Arkansas team is I never realized they might be the most talented name-wise team in college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, Brazil.
Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie Flan, Janelle Davis. Brazil comes off the bench, and he's been there forever, I feel like, but he's always been one of their best players. But yeah, like you guys said, high level college basketball game. Again, two teams that can very well be in the Sweet 16. Like, especially if Arkansas starts playing a little defense with their offensive talent, this team can be dangerous down the stretch. And they're one team that I look for in the SEC to compete with Auburn, hopefully, because someone's got to. And Tennessee, though. I'm sure we'll get into that later, but that Tennessee team, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt. I'm sorry.
Auburn, or sorry, you got me talking about Auburn now. Arkansas, they've been scoring some points, but John L's not even scoring.
No.
He's he's averaging 9, 3, and 2. That's not him. As you know, watching him play at FAU and stuff like that, like he's a scorer, he's a bucket. So if John L gets hot, look out.
Yeah, ball's probably not in his hands as much. He's got a lot more talent around him. Obviously, that Florida Atlantic team was good and deep, but I mean, he's just not going to be the mainstay on a team like this. At Florida Atlantic, he had to make every play for them to win those big games. So, and you saw that last year after those Final Four runs, and they made that tough schedule early in the year, and Janelle Davis had to bail them out many times to even keep them in some of those games. So he'll get going, and I still think he's a legit NBA player.
Yeah, and what I'll say about this player, Janelle, he's a region rat, so we always like to support the guys that are coming out of the region. But I really did think he was going to pop off for this game against his former coach. And I'm not going to say it was a disappointing game out of him at all because they got the win, and that's ultimately all that matters. But yeah, I mean, just I'm addicted to the high level basketball games that we've been so blessed to see for the past 3 weeks. It's been unreal. Mac, I do have a question for you, buddy. Knowing that Calipari is over at Arkansas, and you're a Kentucky guy, are you happy for him getting this big win at a neutral site, or are you more of like
I
what do
I
you
couldn't
think?
really care less. I mean, it was a really good win for them. I'll give it to them. It was looking bleak at the start. John, I got to ask you something. Did you even hear the words that came out of your mouth? Arkansas competing with Auburn this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Arkansas can put ball in basket. My Ohio State Buckeyes personally got motorboated on Saturday by Auburn, but you saw at Cameron Indoor that Auburn team is human at sometimes. I mean, Janai Broom though, this guy's. If we start talking about Auburn, I could sit here and talk about him forever, dude. Like, no, Mackey. I really don't think there's a team in the country that can compete with Auburn, but someone's got to. It can't be like UConn last year. It can't be everyone playing for second place. You know what I'm saying, kid? So at some point there's got to be a team that's going to be able to give them a game outside of a very hostile environment where they get rattled a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going into our next game here. Wisconsin, Illinois just happens to be another game where I was on DP's couch. Another high level basketball game. Boots were on the ground with John, J May, and Dinner out there in Champaign. Um, DP had both team totals over, whatever, anything over DP was on. And I thought it was a good idea to find the sweet spot and try to hit the under. Bad move. I had under, I don't even remember what it was.
160.
Yeah, under 160. The game ended at 166, so I was a loser. DP was a winner. But Mac, I'm going to toss it to you. If you were tuned into that game, what were you impressed with that Illinois team?
Illinois basketball is a very good team. I know they had a heartbreaking loss to Tennessee yesterday, but I don't think people talk about Illinois enough. I think that they can win the Big Ten without a doubt. And very impressive win against Wisconsin, who was good at the start of the year. And in classic Greg Gard fashion, he's just not going to be able to keep it consistent for the whole year, it looks like, yet again. What do you guys think?
John?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say, seeing Illinois yesterday and being there on Wednesday, that atmosphere when I was there was horrible. I mean, it was quiet, huge Big Ten game. Wisconsin's a very good basketball team. I think it's not panic mode yet at all, Mackey, for saying Greg Gard's not going to keep this team together. I mean, you look at that game, their best player, in my opinion, is Klesmit, and he was just missing everything. He missed everything. Nolan Winter looked like their best player in that game, and I personally was on the Wisconsin money line. They were coming off two straight losses. I was thinking, you know what, Illinois got a huge game Saturday. Maybe Wisconsin comes in here and wins this game, and they look great, and it was all around a good game. But at the end of the day, that as I like to call him, Kasparis Jaspers, dude, kid's tough, but he did have a lot of turnovers down the stretch yesterday in that Tennessee game. So
Yeah, what do you think, DP?
Yeah, I like this Illinois team a lot. I think they're a really good basketball team. Kasparis, Jaspers, clip it. I mean, when are we going to talk about this kid, being in the top 3 in the NBA draft this year?
Yeah, he's legit.
He's looked really, really good this year. Yeah, just everybody from Illinois. I mean,
Trey White,
Trey White,
Ivisic, that big guy.
Boswell had a good game too.
Yeah.
It just seems like Illinois for some reason has a balance of like young but like veteran guys that know when to, control the tempo, control the pace, and just help the young guys out, which is really good. And I think they'll really thrive with that for Big Ten play because, as we know, life on the road in the Big Ten is not going to be easy for any basketball team. For the Badgers, they lost 3 straight, but then I think they got a win the other day. Bounce back finally for them
Against Butler.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I just think that Illinois is a good basketball team. So is Wisconsin. Look for both these teams to score in bunches for the fans out there playing the overs. These teams love to score. They got scorers. It's going to be great basketball for these two teams.
Yeah, and then going into our another college matchup that we were tuned into this weekend, one that I'm very happy to talk about just because me being a Hoosier, yesterday I was tuned in for pretty much that entire Texas A&M Purdue matchup. Shout out to Burdine out there in Scottsdale. We talked about this game a lot during it, before it, and this Purdue team, they're struggling right now, man, and I do feel bad for them. I really do because I've praised Braden Smith. I think he's an absolute stud. Personally, I think for sure the best point guard in the Big Ten. I don't think it's even debatable. But something that caught my eye during that game was Kaufman. He was kind of losing his head. Just things weren't going in his way, uncharacteristic turnovers from him and stuff like that, and the chemistry seemed off. Guys, I just want to know, Mackie, I'll throw this out to you. If Kaufman or Braden Smith isn't having a typical day like they normally do, is this Purdue team going to be able to compete with these high level opponents?
No, they won't be able to. But at the same time, this is Texas A&M is just a great, big, physical defensive team with a lot of experience. Not a good matchup for Purdue whatsoever. The game kind of went exactly how I expected, and I don't think it's time to hit the panic button or overreact about Purdue at all. They still have three quad one wins already, and a couple of losses, obviously on the road at Marquette and Penn State, and then a neutral site loss there to A&M, who I think is probably the worst possible matchup for them. So I don't think it's time to hit the panic button, but no, if Braden and Trey Kaufman run have off nights, they don't have anywhere to go. So this Purdue team is more of a middle of the pack Big Ten team to me. They'll be a 6, 7 seed in the tournament. And Painter usually has the guys ready to roll around March there. Um, and Go from there. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
and
They'll compete in the Big Ten still. What do you guys think?
yeah, you know what, Mackie, I agree with you. I don't think I meant to say what I did. I don't think it's time for Purdue to hit the panic button because Painter's a great coach. As much as we hate to say it, Painter is a great basketball coach. And yeah, Mac, like you said again, that Texas A&M team, Coach Buzz has those boys playing defense, and it's defense for 40 minutes straight. And very physical team. I really like this A&M team for a couple reasons. We smacked on a good first half bet the other day at Dinner's house, and I can't believe Johnny somehow convinced me to bet Purdue first half in this game, and I did, and I lost. But yeah, this Aggies team, especially if Wade Taylor's hot, is scary because he gets hot. I mean, it's like a microwave effect. You can call him Curry if you'd like, kid. But seriously, DP, what are you impressed with this Aggies team?
Yeah, I was on A&M money line in this game, just for exactly what Mackie said, just the physicality of A&M and how they play basketball. And Wade Taylor is by far the best basketball player on the floor. Braden Smith, great player, obviously, but I mean the way that Wade Taylor can just take over these games, is kind of absurd. And I think he's a great basketball player. Dark horse for the SEC Player of the Year, definitely could be. But one thing I did notice in this game from the Purdue standpoint was, as much as they like to surround these guys with Braden Smith, when he dumps into Kaufman Wren, kick out threes, Purdue just pump fakes way too much. Anytime that Cam Heidi catches a basketball, it's a pump fake, whether he's open or not. Lawyer, he'll shoot it because he's an actual shooter. But, Heidi and Miles Colvin just pump fake the ball too much. Like, if you're ready to shoot the ball, just shoot the ball. And I think that could hurt them down the stretch.
John, what do you
Yeah,
think?
and go ahead, Mac. What do you got?
It's just a perfect example of poor roster construction by Painter. He kind of let his ego get to him when it comes to transfer portal and we got to bring in the right guys, this and that. And he's kind of seeing right now he's struggling, and he scheduled all these tough games early on. Of course, I shouldn't have said that he has them rolling by March because we know he doesn't have the greatest track record, but he does have them rolling in the middle of Big Ten play.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to hit the panic button on Purdue or anything until I see what their Big Ten record is after February 1st.
John, what do you think, buddy?
All I really got to say about this is when Fletcher Lawyer's your second best player, you're not going to win very many basketball games, especially not high level basketball games.
He's your third best player.
Yeah, I agree.
I disagree. I think Kaufman Wren plays sped up. I think he takes a lot of bad shots. I think he misses a lot of easy shots at the rim. He just looked panicked yesterday. Two guys I want to shout out for A&M. First of all, Zurich Phelps.
Yeah,
That kid is a stud. And remember this name You guys probably remember it. He was a Big Ten guy, Farrell Payne.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Purdue had no answer for him. He was just fighting down low for rebounds. He was making tough and ones. He was making layups. I mean, this guy, I honestly, watching this game, thought he was the difference in this game. And, Wade Taylor, you know what you're going to get from him. And then with Purdue, I've said it all year, guys. I don't think this team's in the top 25 come March. I think they're out of the top 25. And life on the road in the Big Ten, you never know. This team can go 18 and 12, 19 and 11, and they're right there on the bubble. I think 6, 7 seeds a little bit of a stretch. I do not think this team's even that good, and they need more shooters outside of Laurie. You got to be able to trust Colvin outside of Mackey Arena. This team kind of reminds me a little bit of their shooters like when Sasha was there. He could shoot at home, but when they got on the road, they struggled a little bit. And even yesterday, I mean, you can't lose that game when you're playing 40 minutes from home on a neutral site in a big game. So, but shout out Dinner. Purdue sucks.
Yeah, okay, but I don't want us to come off on the wrong foot and like say that we hate Purdue because I used to hate Purdue going to IU. I respect them. I think I only respect him because Braden Smith's there. I really enjoy watching him play basketball. But yeah, John, you brought up a great point. I mean, Payne was just an absolute difference maker in this game. And to be honest, he looked much bigger than everyone out there. I don't know. When he was playing, he was from Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
He came from Minnesota. I do not remember him being as muscular and as big as he was. I mean, he made Kaufman Wren look like skinny. He was an animal. It was all over the boards, being aggressive towards Kaufman, taking it right at him. That team, the Aggies, will be in March, and I will not be betting against them like I did.
The biggest thing that I want you guys to think about when it comes to this Purdue team is Trey Kaufman-Renn. They don't have a 5. He's a 4, and they got him playing the 5. And they try to do the same thing they did with Edey, force it inside. And Kaufman-Renn is not Zach Edey. Like, let's be honest, guys. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is he's a 4. He's not a 5. He's playing out of position, and that true freshman center who they were starting early in the year got hurt. So I think his name's Will Berg, 44, the big ginger.
He's horrible.
Yeah, but hopefully they can develop him like they developed Harms, they developed Edey, they developed Swanigan. Painter's great at that. So things can change throughout the year. We'll see what happens.
I'm just glad that you're the only one up here that, for whatever reason, respects that team
Yeah, that's okay.
because no one else does.
That's okay.
I definitely don't.
No.
But going into our next matchup, this one came down to the buzzer. It was awesome. I was in Square Roots watching this, and I was not aware that Tennessee was ranked number 1. When I saw that, I literally thought that was like an air or something on ESPN. I was like, Tennessee's at the 1? I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, for some reason, I thought that was so weird that I wasn't aware that they were the number 1 team in the country at the time. And hey, they're a good basketball team, man. And I caught most of the second half, not too much of the first half. But, I mean, they beat a great Illinois team like we've been talking about. This Illinois team is under the radar for most people. But that Tennessee team went into Illinois and won the game, and that's what you're supposed to do. Good teams find ways to win, and maybe that number 1 ranking isn't so wrong. But DP, what do you think of this Illinois and Tennessee matchup?
Yeah, I was in Chicago. I didn't really get to watch most of this game. I saw that Jaspers had 22 though.
8 turnovers.
Yeah, that needs to get cleaned up on, John. But yeah. Besides, I didn't get to, catch it. I just, box score watched this game a little bit from being in Chicago. I'm actually glad I didn't get to watch it because I would have been all over my normal bets, especially for these 2 teams, and all those would have failed. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of glad I didn't get to watch. Obviously, it was a great game. Our college hoops group chat was blowing up about it. A lot of the guys were watching it, had a lot of comments about it. So, John, I mean, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I honestly, I laid down and, this was a good one. I watched the whole game. Tennessee's defense, I think, started to rattle those freshmen late in that game. Illinois was kind of in control. Trey White and Kylan Boswell were starting to control that game a little bit. There was a chance where Illinois had a few chances to run away with it. And then, Gainey, this kid, he's the one who hit the game winner.
Mm-hmm.
He hit a lot of big shots in that game. And Mackie, you might know who number 7 is on Tennessee, but we found another certified chucker. That guy, he
Igor Milicic.
Yeah, Milicic. Yeah, dude. He I kid you not, he was probably 0 for 9 from the 3-point line yesterday, and he almost cost Tennessee that game. But Rick Barnes is a great coach. I mean, that's a huge road win. I understand you're the number one team in the country, but you're not supposed to win that game.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean,
Yeah.
so what a win. And Mr. Gainey, shout out because that kid was balling yesterday.
Yeah, Mac, what do you think, buddy?
It's a great game. Tennessee had gotten the number one ranking off the back of beating up some bad to average teams. Baylor was a good win, but that was about it. So I was critical of them there, but they got their big road win yesterday and looked good doing it. They got punched in the mouth a couple times by Illinois, and like John said, they could not put it away. Tennessee came back, and defense wins in the end.
Our boy Jaspers down the stretch, boys, just mistake after mistake after mistake. And it
Yep,
was
and
it was
no
frustrating.
Jamal Mashak shutting down Tomislav Ivicic is that was a big,
Yeah, and then
massive.
Mac, I got a question for you. Considering that this game came down to the buzzer, high quality shot, Tennessee takes the win, right? With Ziegler fouling out before that last possession, do you still think that Tennessee would have won this game in overtime?
No, they had one shot to win it, and it was to hit a shot at the buzzer. They took it coast to coast and put it right in. That was their shot.
Yeah.
Lanier had an off night. Yeah, I know he had 17, but he shot 5 of 17. Obviously, Ziegler fouled out. That's a big hit to their defense. I don't think they would have won the game in overtime. No.
I think if Kaspers just makes both the free throws, I think they win the game. I mean, that whole tie game considered by being down one, that's completely different, especially with young kids in their minds. Like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
you have nothing to lose when it's a tie game. I mean, you're getting the last shot. You can't lose the game. And I think that game was awesome. It was awesome. They keep gifting us these, and we can't get too used to it. And I hope that these matchups coming up are going to be just as electric as the ones that we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic coast to coast take there at the buzzer.
It was.
I can't believe they let him get all the way to the basket.
Yeah. It was just athleticism, really. I mean, he got down to the block in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Avoiding all defenders and then making that acrobatic layup. I mean, it was awesome. But another game that I got to enjoy at Square Roots was the Zags UConn game late last night. DP's first half probably hit. Ball was finding the basket in the first half. And then all of a sudden, these teams both shot under 35% in the second half. Just like a total killing to a killing to my pregame over.
Yep.
But I mean, what happened? How do you go from so hot, everybody's shooting the ball well, to the second half where no one's shooting the ball well? John, did you get the chance to tune into that game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of this, before I headed out to the casino last night. The biggest thing for me in this game, obviously I watched the first half, so everything was falling, everything was going in. And the biggest thing for me is I think this was more of a must-win game for UConn. They needed to prove that they're still at that caliber. They could still beat a very good team in Gonzaga, which, let's be honest, a lot of people before the year think Gonzaga is like an Elite Eight Final Four team. So UConn, Dan Hurley was not losing this game, and that's the biggest thing to me. They had to win a game like this, especially after Maui. We've sat here and we've trashed UConn and we've asked, is this UConn team done? And all we found out yesterday is that this UConn team is not done. And Gonzaga is still Gonzaga. They're going to be all right. But another high level college basketball game, boys, and it's great. But like we're all talking about, it's still early in the year, so seeing this, this March Madness it's going to be awesome down the stretch of the season and all that. So great college basketball game, another one, and Dan Hurley wins again. What a surprise.
What do you think, DP?
Yeah, I was able to catch most of this game, probably about 3/4 of it actually. I was able to watch most of the second half inside the FanDuel Sportsbook at Blue Chip Casino. Shout out Blue Chip. Took my money, but at least I get to watch the games. Yeah, with about 6.5 minutes to go, this game was around 68-63. And, I'm like, oh, we still have life for both, the original game over and the team totals. Then everyone just went cold. And it's just like, to me, you get these spurts from Gonzaga, definitely, like in the Kentucky game, them scoring like 25 points in the second half. Like, for whatever reason, Gonzaga just stopped playing high level basketball. You could have a 60-point half out of the Zags, and then you end up with a 25-point half. It makes no sense why, this Mark Few team is, having this happen to them. As you said, this is probably an Elite Eight Final Four contending team, and it just seems to happen to them too often right now. And I wouldn't say it's not good, obviously. It's early. It's still Gonzaga, They're probably gonna, motorboat everybody from the
Motorboat
you
kid.
know, and
Shout out. You're not even going to give me a shout out on the motorboat there?
you already said it once today. Everyone knows. Um, with their conference, they should, probably wipe through their conference. They'll get that an occasional game from San Francisco or St. Mary's, but we'll see how what happens in the tournament. So I'll be interested with this Gonzaga team for sure.
Mac, what did you take from that game?
I'll say two things and keep it short so we can move on. I had the over, got screwed by that too, and UConn doesn't lose at Madison Square Garden. Anybody that took Gonzaga was a fool.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I will add in that UConn should absolutely run away with the Big East. What a horrible basketball conference all around. You got UConn and Marquette, and UConn's going to end up running away with it again.
Mackie hates the Big East.
The Johnnies, Mac.
Mackie actually
Johnnies.
hates the Big East. But guys,
St. John.
I just want to get, like I said at the beginning, that Army Navy. I just wanted to bring it up for the troops. Just out of respect. I don't think we want to get too much into it. I just think that we're all surprised that Army lost that game.
Yeah. I mean, the way that Horvath played, that was nuts for Navy.
Yes.
Navy seemed to me that Navy came into that game thinking we have no chance to win this game, so we're just going to go out there and blow the doors off.
Correct.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
If any of you guys took Josh Jacobs' first touchdown, you're a pansy.
Is that
Plus
just
450.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, plus 450. If you're not betting at least a plus 1,000 first touchdown score, it's sad.
No, I agree. But yeah, we just wanted to bring up a shout out to the troops, but we're gonna be giving our playoff week 1 score predictions and then who's gonna win. Matt, or I'll give it to John, just because I seen the first game on his phone right here. John, lead us off.
Yeah, I got a little hate last week for not, picking my team to win it all. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give you guys the predictions that I actually think will happen here. When I saw this first round matchup, my juices were flowing. I cannot wait for this game. And if somehow, some way, Indiana goes into South Bend and wins Friday night, the podcast on Sunday will be the best podcast of my life. But anyway,
will that be the same if Tennessee beats Ohio State?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that. I'll live. Then Ryan Day's gone, and we can all live happily ever after.
Johnny's got that in his script right here.
Here we go. I got Indiana 31, Notre Dame 28. I got a very close game here, a little high-scoring football game. I think it's cold weather. They're both used to it. And, at the end of the day, take the Hoosiers' money line. I think there's value there. I think they got the better quarterback in Rourke. I honestly think their defense is better. The only position I really believe that Notre Dame has them at is the running back position.
Yeah, so, probably not our cornerbacks either.
Indiana 31, Notre Dame 28. You heard it here first. In the second game, Penn State, SMU. I got Penn State 38, SMU 17. I think this is where SMU finally gets their wake-up call. They have not played in an atmosphere that they're going to go into there in Happy Valley. I mean, I just can't imagine this game being close, and you can give me Penn State big. Third game, here we go. The Battle of the Oranges. Clemson 21, Texas 17. You can give me Dabo Sweeney in this game. Texas just lost to a backup quarterback. I can't fathom with it. Quinn Ewers hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked like himself. This defense is only going to be able to hold up so long. I trust Klubnik a little more here with his legs. Pressure situations, it's a lot easier to run the ball than it is to throw the ball. And in that case, I think Clemson's going to do that a little better than Texas does. So I'll take Clemson here. And then in a low-scoring battle in Columbus, because Ohio State is not Ohio State anymore, give me Ohio State 20, Tennessee 10. It's going to be a defensive battle, cold weather. Tennessee's not going to be used to it. And Will Howard will find a way to run for 40 yards and get a few big first downs and win the game. And no Ohio State fans care, but we'll move on to the next round, and Oregon will pound us. So that's what I got there.
Would you like to go next, kid?
If you're ready, you can go.
Okay. So per usual, I've got all the winners and probably the correct scores. So sprinkle on all my correct scores. First game, Friday night. DP and I will be there. I'm not sure. John, will you be in South Bend for that?
I will not be. I am not wasting my money.
Yeah, we'll both be there. DP inside the game. I'm not sure if I'll be inside the game yet, but I'll definitely be smashing some beers out on the lot. But this one's a no-brainer. I got Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame 34-24. It's going to be pretty cold, but I think that I just think that Notre Dame runs the ball too well. I know Indiana, that's their strength on defense is against the run, but I truly think that this Notre Dame team is up front in the trenches better than them, and I believe that we have better skilled players than them. I just think that Jeremiah Love is an absolute stud, and I can't wait for him to rush for 200 yards on the Hoosiers. But I'm just pulling for a good game, you know. I don't want to see the Hoosiers get smacked around, so I hope Marcus Freeman keeps it within a 10-point game out of respect. But yeah, so Notre Dame 34, IU 24.
This kid's an IU graduate, just so you guys know.
On to the Penn State game. And yes, I said the Penn State game. This SMU team has no chance. Like Johnny, I actually have a similar score to Johnny. I've got Penn State winning this one 31-17. I don't think it's going to be close. This Penn State team is going to show them how the Big Ten plays football, and it's not going to be good for them. So that's just a quick one for me. And then we go to Dabo Weenie. You know, it kills me that Dabo Weenie and I share a birthday. I see it on Instagram every September 24th, and I've hated him for the past like 6 or 7 years. But not today. Mackie, your Texas Longhorns are falling, bud. To Dabo, Weenie, and the boys. Give me Clemson 24-20.
Similar score prediction
I know,
there, too,
kid.
kid. Great minds are thinking alike right now,
I
but
know.
that's never good when we agree on something.
You must have studied my playbook or something because, wow. Then we go to the Buckeyes. And yes, I say the Buckeyes because there's just no chance that this Nico kid for Tennessee has any stones, and he will not be beating the Buckeyes in Columbus. There is no chance the Buckeyes go down against this Tennessee team. But I differ with Johnny in this one. I could see Ohio State getting an early defensive touchdown and just getting the score up a little bit. I've got Ohio State 31, Tennessee 17. DP, 1, how did you like my picks?
Not bad.
All right. And 2, let's hear yours.
One thing before you pass that on, did you see the Tennessee guy came out and said that Ohio Stadium is nothing like the SEC? He's going to find out on Saturday night. I'm just going to tell you that Ohio Stadium is one of the best atmospheres in college football. I've been there many times myself, and it is loud, and that is the last thing Ohio State needed was more motivation coming off the Michigan loss.
But I do want to add, sorry, DP, before you give us your picks. I did hear that Tennessee is like the top place to see a football game as well. So
I don't care. I hate Tennessee.
Can
I hate
confirm.
Tennessee fans.
yeah.
Mackie, fuck Tennessee, right?
I don't like Tennessee, but it is probably the best place to see a night game in the country.
Yeah.
Shout out Morgan Wallen for pleading guilty to your charges.
Yep. All right, DP, let's hear him.
Is that a little bit of Burrowhead when they started calling Arrowhead Burrowhead type stuff out of Tennessee? Is that kind of what they're trying to get at there?
They're dumb. I'm just going to be honest. That Tennessee team is dumb. The last thing they should have done. I mean, can you imagine what this Ohio State team is going to come out and do to them, bro? Coming off a loss against Michigan, and then you just add more motivation. It's going to be a bloodbath, dude. This game's not going to be close.
Let's hear it, DP.
Them fans are going to be rowdy after a couple Trulies.
All right, DP, give us your picks.
Truly is interesting. Yeah, I think Notre Dame wins this game 28-7 or 28-10.
Wow.
You just gave up 40 points to USC.
You're right. They have receivers. IU does not.
Okay.
Hey, let him speak. Let him speak. Give us your analysis. Why the score prediction like that?
Well, I mean, it took, late score versus Ohio State. I think Notre Dame has a similar defense to Ohio State. I think Notre Dame's going to play man coverage and blitz everybody because once Ohio State realized that IU's offensive line sucks, that they can bring 7 guys at a time, that's what Ohio State started doing, and IU couldn't do anything. And I think our corners, Ohio State's corners are really good as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they start doing.
All right, so this was an easy pick for you.
And look for this game to be on the ball on the ground,
right?
Like a shortened game, almost like a Navy type game probably out of both teams. I don't know what the weather is going to be like. If it's
it's going to be cold. We know it's going to be cold regardless.
If it's really crappy, then it could be a ground and pound for both teams. And I agree with you guys. I think Penn State rolls. I think they've kind of found their offensive groove versus Oregon. This game could be 38-10. I think
he's on board.
Penn State rolls this team. I am fading you guys. I think Texas wins this game. I think there's enough.
Boo.
I think there's enough out of the Longhorns. Look for Arch Manning to possibly get some play here. I think Texas wins this
Gets
game.
no play at Texas though. Arch Manning, you suck.
Do you guys ever see that video of people passing around his student ID?
Yeah.
He definitely gets no play out there at Texas.
Sorry if you interrupt you
You're
again.
good. Yeah. I think Texas wins this game 24-17.
He has a reverse of my score.
I think it's a lot close. I just think Texas pulls one out at the end just because it's at home. And this game is going to be, very interesting. I think that if Ohio State struggles on offense initially, that place is going to be a cauldron for Ryan Day's head. Quick.
That could be true, John.
I think that if they struggle offensively,
I hope they lose.
to start the game, it could be trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
At the shoe.
So who are you taking?
7-7 overtime. And no, I don't. This game is going to be. I think both defenses are going to be, mature. I'm thinking 10-7, coin flip, whoever wins.
So you're telling me we're going to see a Tennessee flag planted on the O again? I mean, that would be absolutely electric. I would actually die laughing, bro, if Tennessee won this game and planted the flag on the O once again.
Yeah, they're going to arrest him for whatever stupid charge that the governor made because they're tired of losing to Michigan.
I mean, as Dave Portnoy said, boys, it's laughable to be an Ohio State fan right now. It's absolutely laughable. And even if they win a national championship, it's like, is it even impressive at this point? Like, I'm just so over it. And Mackie, go ahead and give us your picks because I can't sit here and talk about how. Go ahead and give us your picks.
You can go ahead and give me Notre Dame 34-17. I'm not in on IU's offense whatsoever after that clunker of a performance with the shoe, and I think this is only going to be worse for them. So you can give me that 34-17. You can give me Penn State 27-21. I think it's going to be a little closer than everyone thinks.
I like that.
We'll see. It might not be super close. It could be 27-14, last second touchdown, backdoor cover. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be an absolute blowout. And then obviously you can give me the Longhorns. Their only two losses are to Georgia. I mean, it is what it is. They've dominated pretty much everyone else. You can give me the Longhorns 38-28.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're saying it's impressive that your only two losses are to Georgia, and it took this team 7 overtimes at home to beat Georgia Tech.
You know who didn't struggle with Georgia Tech?
Who?
The Irish.
No, dude. Are we done
All right,
talking about
Mackie,
the Irish?
sorry to interrupt you.
In Georgia, kid.
Sorry to interrupt you.
John, don't want to hear anything on your takes. You said IU has a better defense than Notre Dame.
Yeah, delusional.
I'll be honest, dude. It's not every Saturday I watch the Irish play an absolutely nobody of an opponent.
Yeah, right.
Anyways,
Matt,
last game here. Best game of the weekend. Give me the Buckeyes 2017. Absolute rock fight. Tennessee will cover
Agree.
without a doubt, but it's going to be
Typical
an
SEC
absolute rock
bias.
fight.
Typical SEC
rock
bias.
fight. I like that reference.
fight.
I like
He
that.
took the Buckeyes.
I might have to start using
SEC,
that.
yeah, SEC bias. I took Ohio State.
So you're
John.
telling me Tennessee covers easy?
Yes.
As an Ohio State
I mean,
fan, I might be in on the Tennessee money line.
I think that's a good
I
take.
told you that this game's going to be 10-7. This game's going to be a total rock fight.
I said 20-10. I mean, we're all kind of in the same,
Yeah,
you know.
I
Give
think
me overtime in this game.
I think we're all in the same boat here. And besides that Texas Clemson game, which I know we're on the right side, buddy.
Mac, you got it.
I think we had some pretty
Yeah,
good
we
takes
got
there,
this one.
actually. But we will be getting into the NFL, my favorite segment. Sean Payton, I love you today. Colts are eliminated. It's a holiday in this garage. John, probably a lot of tears in your living room. I just want to hear what you have to say about that game. Jonathan Taylor, an all-pro, just dropping the ball like a peewee football player that's excited to go get a donut after a touchdown. What's your thoughts, buddy?
Kid, before you start this rant, JT, I love you. You cost me my fantasy league. That hurts. It is what it is. John, take it away.
I want Zach Moss back. Jonathan Taylor, we should have never paid him. I mean, this is a damn game to have a 53% chance to go to the playoffs. Your best player, who you just paid $42 million, hold on to the damn ball. What does it take? You go up 20-7 in this football game. Your defense is playing lights out. Bo Nix you've turned him over 3 times. You're controlling this football game. And what do you know? The Colts make a huge mistake. Just like last year, Tyler Goodson couldn't catch the football with the chance to win the division and go to the playoffs. Something about this Colts team, ever since Peyton Manning's been gone, they cannot get over the hump. I should say ever since Andrew Luck's been gone. But what is the problem? I'm not a Bears fan. I'm not going to tell you it's the front office. I'm not going to tell you it's Shane Steichen. But at what point, how long can Colts fan defend Anthony Richardson? I understand Mackey's going to sit here and he's going to tell you, no, he's going to sit here and he's going to tell you, oh, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. At some point, it's got to be his fault. He's the one with the ball in his hands. He's the one making the decision. But I don't understand the Shane Steichen play call. Why are you throwing the ball to a rookie to then try to throw the ball to your quarterback when you just got 2 first downs in a row and you got a chance to go make it a 1-possession game again? There are serious problems in Indianapolis. Another failed season. Another guy with all this potential and he doesn't show it. I mean, he came back and beat the Jets. He came back and beat the Patriots, all for nothing. I mean, you might as well go out there and lose to the Giants, the Titans, and the Jags and get a good draft pick because, I mean, it is miserable to be a Colts fan today. They had that game at 20-7. They had my parlay locked up for $550. 20-7, boys. 20-7. And I will never get over this because I was fired up. I looked at my girlfriend. I said, are you ready to go? I got in my car and I left. I didn't even want to watch the rest of that game. It's absolutely miserable. Shane Steichen, you should be ashamed. Jim Irsay, you should be ashamed. Chris Ballard, you should be ashamed. Anthony Richardson, you should be ashamed. And Jonathan Taylor, you should be kicked off the team tomorrow.
Yeah, and this is awesome. We actually have a guest here that's watching this behind the camera, wearing his Nico Collins jersey, and I've never seen this kid smile so long in my life. This was honestly like after all this stuff I've been hearing from Johnny about the Bears, this, and that. This was a holiday, an actual holiday for me. Shout out the Broncos special teams. I went and bet the live under. You return the ball to the Colts 15. They score a touchdown. Then the Colts want to pull a trick play out. What happens? Pick 6, dead. Still in the third quarter. DP, tell me. Or no, should we go to Mackey, the Colts fan?
No, bro, because he never had faith in this team in the first place. So he's gonna sit here on this podcast and he's gonna act like he's a Colts fan and he's gonna go, it's not Anthony Richardson's fault. Like, do you ever want to win? Like, when will your expectations be high? Like, that's what I'm starting to wonder is at what point do Colts fans just stop accepting losing? Like, it's gotta be enough at some point, but go ahead and give us your take, Mackie.
I mean, I just find this funny. How are you gonna do you want Anthony Richardson to go literally pick the ball up and hand it to Jonathan Taylor in the end zone? Like, do you want him to not run the play that the coach called that was boneheaded and stupid? Like, what do you want him to do, John?
He still threw 2 interceptions.
Did not contribute to the 2 plays that lost this. He did not contribute to the 2 plays that lost the Colts the game whatsoever. The ball was not in his hands. But that's the thing is we were down 11, Mackie. We weren't out of the game. Bo Nix threw 3 picks and won the game. Okay, the ball wasn't in his hands.
He still threw 2 interceptions. I mean, at what point can we not back him up, Mackie? I'm the same as you. I defend him. I back him up every single day. At some point, you have got to – somebody's got to be blamed for it, and – yes, today it was Jonathan Taylor, but you can't overlook that Anthony Richardson did not play good. He did not play good today in the biggest game of his career yet.
I'm not saying he played good. Not saying he played good.
Biggest game.
He didn't play good. But you also got to realize he's 14th career NFL start, John. 14th career NFL start.
Yeah.
He was drafted as a project quarterback, and you're giving up without 1 full season of analysis on him?
Yeah, Matt.
What does that do? It sets us back. We go sign Sam Darnold next year, go fucking 9-8 and start over again in 2 years. Like, there's not much you can do. You have to fire the front office. They're the ones at fault for this.
What we should have done is never got rid of Gardner Minshew. I mean, we were a better football team last year than we are this year.
Oh my goodness! Here we go.
I'm tired of hearing you two flirt over here. DP, what do you got?
If you sign Sam Darnold, you guys might end up 11-2 as well. I mean.
This is true.
He's working the Vikings right now. I mean, yeah, it hurts, for Colts fans. I was wanting the Colts to win just to have a, crazy chance of making the playoffs. I thought that'd be nuts. Bo Nix did struggle mightily in this game. I'm very surprised that he struggled this much in this game. It was, a crazy game to watch. Sean Payton did finally seem to be relieved at the end of this game. And this gives, Denver what? They're now second in that division after the Chargers lost today. So, they're a tough team. That the defense is really good. Pat Surtain's got those boys working.
They play next week, Denver and
Chiefs, Denver.
Yeah, Thursday night football.
Chargers,
That's
Broncos,
Christmas,
Chargers,
right?
Broncos
On
next
Christmas.
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, next week.
Yeah, next week, Thursday night football. But the other game that we're gonna take a peek at, I mean, just high level football. I thought this should have been the Sunday night game. I'm kind of upset it wasn't. Bills and Lions, guys. I mean, that game was awesome. I mean, how many points? 83 in that game?
90.
90?
Yeah, they scored.
Oh, yeah, they got that late one. I mean, this was awesome. I mean, Josh Allen, congratulations. You just secured your MVP.
You should.
And yeah,
You
and I'm
should.
happy for you, man, because you've been getting a lot of slander these past couple of years. And this is the year that he takes down Mahomes. John's going to laugh, but I'm telling you, that Chiefs team's fraudulent. Fraudulent.
John, I would, as much as I wanted you guys to win, the Bills might have been 14-point favorites when the Colts came to
More.
Buffalo.
More.
The Colts would have made the playoff.
I just wanted to make it, man. I didn't care
No,
what
I know.
happened when we got there.
But yeah, Josh Allen, I mean, forget about the game. I mean, the stats out of these two quarterbacks were crazy. They both had almost 500 total yards, like by each person. There was probably 1,000 yards of offense combined between the two quarterbacks today. And I mean, this game was just nuts. I know, it sucks for you in fantasy with Gibbs. That hurt. I was going up against Amon Ra in one league. It happens. Goff was my quarterback in the league that I missed, by a few points, by total points. He went crazy today. But yeah, don't be surprised if you see this matchup one more time this year.
John?
So I know I've said it once and I'll say it again. I said earlier in the year I don't know if this Lions defense is good enough to win a Super Bowl. And defense carries, offense doesn't always carry, and sometimes you hit a rut in the playoffs. And I think that's the thing that still puts the Chiefs over the Bills for me is that the Chiefs defense is elite. Last week the Bills defense gave up 44 points. They still gave up 42 points today. So, Josh Allen's awesome. Somehow this team got rid of a lot of their best players and got better. Josh Allen's an absolute stud. Khalil Shakir's a stud. James Cook's a stud. But, this defense still gave up 42 points and 44 points last week. So you just wonder if at some point when they play a team with a really good defense, like a scary team that I look at is the Chargers. They got a really good defense. The Chiefs have a really good defense. And, but all around high level football game. Great game.
Yeah.
And I do think there is a chance you see it again. But we'll see what happens. And we got to see what happened with Mahomes' injury today. So,
Yeah. Mac, what do you think about that Bills-Lions game, buddy?
High level game. Lions defense is really, really banged up. I want to see how they get towards the end of the year if they get some guys back. But I can see the argument for the defense not being good enough to win a Super Bowl. They played from behind the entire game today. The final score says it's a 6-point game. They really weren't ever that close in this game. The Bills kind of dominated it from the get-go. And what a dumb decision by Dan Campbell for that onside kick. You killed every ounce of momentum you had to even have an outside shot to get back in the game with that.
Yeah.
He got a little too cute for his own good there. I know that's his MO as a coach, and I respect the hell out of it, but he got a little too cute there.
Yeah, I agree. J-Man and I were watching at my house, and J-Man needed the Lions, and he was the same thing. What's Dan Campbell doing? An onside kick with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's just a poor decision.
it's not trusting your defense.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
exactly.
since,
there's nothing to trust.
especially
Their
since
best
you have
defense-
to announce it now.
Yeah, and their best defensive lineman getting hurt in that game really hurt them. I mean, they had zero pass rush after that. But yeah, like John just said, it was just kind of like a disrespect to the defense. I mean, they probably know they suck too. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't argue getting 45 points put up against you. What was it, 48? You can't argue getting 48 points against you is good. You know what I mean?
Terry on Arnold's pass interference king.
Yeah, he is. But hey,
Yeah, his yeah,
I could have used
agree
that
on that.
6 from Kincaid at the end.
Yeah, but John, we're gonna pass it to your segment, buddy. The good old NBA. I see what you got written in the script here, but I wanna start with like, kid, what's going on with LeBron?
Dude, I don't know. I asked my dad this morning. I said, does JJ Redick not like him? Or does JJ Redick not just he's not like the other coaches who it's LeBron's team, and JJ Redick's trying to put his foot in the ground because, you got to realize LeBron James is almost 40 years old. He's towards the end of his career, and at some point you can't let a guy that, in my opinion, is no longer a superstar run that team. And I think that's the problem is that JJ Redick's trying to put his foot down. And I don't know if you guys know this, but LeBron temporarily stepped away from the team for
Yeah,
a
I
little
saw
bit.
that.
And it's concerning to me because this Lakers team, I thought they started off the year really well. And I just don't know what's going to happen going forward, whether or not he's going to be moved. He could be traded. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to go join Curry in Golden State. So we'll see what happens there. I think the whole Bronny thing has a little bit of an effect on what's going on with LeBron.
Yeah, for sure.
LeBron needs attention. There's no way he's going to retire because his little princess self needs a farewell tour.
Yeah, correct.
Um, but at the end of the day, there's trouble in paradise in LA when your franchise player is not with your team and they're not saying what's coming out and what's going on. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it's good for JJ Redick to put his foot down and someone's getting Darvin Ham didn't do it. I mean, someone's got to step up to LeBron at some point and realize that he's not bigger than his own team. So
Yeah, you know, as bad as this is to say, I love seeing him struggle right now. I know that sounds terrible, but as a guy that believes that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, because I have a brain, it's good to see that LeBron is. I mean, as long as it's not for like any like horrible reason why he's stepping away from the team, I personally think it's because he's just not used to performing at this poor of a level, and it's getting to his brain. I mean, when your son outscores you, that's sad. You know what I mean? DP, what's your thoughts on this LeBron move by him stepping away from the team?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was interesting. I mean, just the other day, he's telling his kid to get up off the bench for the rookie move so A Disney can, sit down on
Hey,
his
Disney.
his padded seat. That way he doesn't get hurt. Anthony Glass, whatever you like to call him. Yeah, I really don't care. I mean, he's in year what, like 28 at this point, it seems like. Um, he's just going through probably just old man NBA stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, I know he spends what millions on his body every off season to make sure it's right, which is great. But I mean, maybe he needs some more of that right now. Maybe it's actually starting to take its toll.
yeah, let me say something about this real quick, and I know you guys are never gonna hear these words come out of my mouth again, but
Flip it, Tyler, the editor. Shout out.
um, these older guys that played in the Olympics look tired, exhausted. Like they gave everything they could to win that gold medal, and then Curry does not look like himself at all, and it pains me to say Curry doesn't look like himself. LeBron stepping away from his team, something he's never done in his whole career, even with all the trade rumors throughout his career, the big decisions, and it's just it sucks to see because this is our childhood. These are our childhood guys that we grew up watching,
Right.
and at some point they're not going to be there. And I think both of them, Curry was talking retirement the other day, and I think LeBron. I don't know if he'll ever. I think he'll struggle like Brady to step away from basketball. I think when Curry's ready to go, he's going to go.
Mac, what do you think about Bron taking a step away?
I mean, the fact that this is a conversation and everything, and he's still averaging 24 and 9 as a 39-year-old is really impressive. But besides that, I don't know what's going on. The NBA overall is just a really bad product, guys.
No, I
I don't know if
agree.
you guys watched any of the NBA Cup yesterday. Like this product the NBA is putting on the court right now is awful. And like John just said, when the game loses KD, LeBron, and Curry, the NBA is in serious trouble. I don't believe in these next group of superstars, quote unquote, quite as much as some people do.
No, yeah, and I agree with you. I actually seen something on Instagram today, and it was like the NBA ratings are down like 48% from like this year compared to like the past like 6 or 7 years. That is insane,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I also saw another stat that it was like 65% of annual NBA viewers only tune in when Steph and LeBron play. Like when those two guys are playing basketball is when people actually only watch them, which, like Maggie said, that's scary for our future
Yeah.
generation. But if you guys are done with this, can I talk about one game here real quick? You guys just give me your picks. That's
Yeah.
all I
Yeah.
want. We got must-see TV Thursday night. I know you guys aren't big NBA guys, but there was a huge trade with these two teams, and Thursday night on TNT at 9:30, we got Knicks T-Wolves. DiVincenzo back in New York, Cat playing Minnesota, his former team, and he was loved there, and he didn't want to leave there. And I think this is going to be an awesome game. I personally think the T-Wolves will win this game. I think the Knicks are struggling a little bit. They lost that cup game to the Hawks the other day. Trae Young still owns the Knicks. And Ice Trey, like to say. So what do you
He
guys?
was rolling dice on the Knicks
Yeah,
logo.
that was awesome to see, And I think Michael Bridges is playing too many minutes. Thibodeau does this every year, and this Knicks team's struggling. So I'll take the T-Wolves in this game. You guys go ahead, and Zach, what's your pick here?
Yeah, you can just give me Michael Jordan's son and the T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards is different. He'll probably have 40. This game's in Minnesota, right? Or is this in New York?
It's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota. Yeah. Give me Ant 40 plus. That'll probably honestly be only plus 200 because they're expecting it coming. This Knicks team is struggling, like John just said. And I mean, if you get dice rolled on the middle of your court, there's no way you're coming out with fire in the next game. DP, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Timberwolves roll in this game. Look for DiVincenzo, like 5+ threes. I'm I'm thinking he starts to roll him down. He'll be talking trash to Rick Brunson on the sideline. I know they got into it during whatever that preseason or whatever altercation was.
Yeah.
I'm sure DiVincenzo will be ready to play basketball in this one.
Save the picture, Mackie. Please save the picture. You got Knicks or T-Wolves?
I got the Knicks.
Wow. Save the
I'm a
picture.
firm
That's
Knicks
good.
believer. You know it. I'm a
You are a
Knicks
Knicks
guy.
believer, kid. But John, must see TV. We love hearing that from you, and we will be tuned in most likely.
Yeah, I'll
Storylines
be
are great.
watching this game.
Storylines to me are the only thing that are keeping like the NBA afloat at this time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll tune in to watch NBA at the Garden anytime.
yeah.
That's about it.
just to run the thing, I just want to run something by you guys with what John was saying about the guys who played for Team USA. To me, it seems that Team USA is worried about their reputation. Because wasn't it like a few years ago that the young kids went out there and played and they were losing games? And I think that's why they assembled,
The Avengers
squad.
Ah!
That way, they had to, their claim to fame. Like Mackie was saying, maybe, these quote unquote young superstars aren't as good as we really think they are.
But you saw that these international teams, they're starting to be able to compete with the United
Yeah.
States. I mean, it took Curry, LeBron, and KD everything in that semifinal game to come back in that game. I mean, and it's just like they look exhausted, and it sucks to see because the NBA is my favorite sport personally, and I love watching NBA basketball. So
It's dying, and that's sad to see. But Mac, we're throwing it to you, buddy, for the low-hanging fruit. Give us your picks.
All right, another 1-1 week. The Commanders really did us in there. Thought we were gonna get it. Opened 3.5, closed at 7.5, and they blew it at the end. It is what it is. The Jets, the backdoor cover. Sorry if you guys hear the dog in the background. He's a little irritated with me right now. First pick, you can give me Notre Dame minus 7.5. I think this should be at least 10. So I've already bet this one. And then pick number 2, you can toss me the Colts at -4 against the Titans. Titans are hideous.
Wow. I mean, is that betting with your heart or what? Give me
Titans are
the
horrible.
Titans +4 because Levis is getting benched and Mason Rudolph is having a revenge game. This Colts team's going to give up. They just eliminated themselves from the playoffs.
15% chance.
No, they're done, John. Get that in thick skull ears. They're done. Give me the Titans +4, but Mackie, obviously, I love the -7.5 with the Irish. DP, you're on the +4 with me, aren't you?
I don't know. I actually don't hate the Colts pick, actually.
They own the Titans. They own the
Actually,
Titans.
I hope.
The
It's not tough.
Titans are hideous.
I don't hate the Colts pick there. This could be, a really good bounce back game out of the Colts. I mean, they still have a chance to go 8-8 or 9-8. Don't look for them to, try and bounce back to at least give themselves a chance. They knew that this one probably slipped away out of their hands, so look for them to actually come out with a fight. I do like that. And, for the 7.5, I'll probably take it down to 6.5. just because I mean they definitely could win by a touchdown, but if it's low scoring, like it very well could be. I think a touchdown will be all that it is. So, taking it down to 6.5, eating a little bit of the juice could be a beneficial.
John?
6.5 is a really smart play as well. I'll second that.
John?
Yeah, I like the Colts pick here. We do own the Titans and we got to bounce back. And next week will tell us a lot if this team's just going to lay down for the rest of the season or if they're going to stay motivated and get ready to go next year. They're still very young. They drafted Adonai Mitchell this year and he hasn't showed up at all. Kind of hurts to see, especially seeing Worthy do so good in Kansas City. But
Hey, he's got a touchdown pass.
Yeah, to the other team.
but yeah, I like the Colts -4, and the whole Notre Dame Indiana game. Like I said, I hope it's a good game. I hate that this was the draw.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I honestly, these two teams that are not very familiar with each other, and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think, and I've actually seen a lot of experts picking the Hoosiers to win this game. So I don't know who's going to win, but I'm going to stay away from it probably and just sit back, drink a beer, and enjoy this game because it's awesome to see Indiana in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I agree.
Truly.
Well, guys, that wraps things up for today. Another great pod. Thought we had a lot of good things that we watched over the past weekend.
Yep.
What we did learn is that Mackey's soft. No bourbon this tonight. But yeah, guys, episode 7. Thanks for watching, and please continue to watch and share. All right, Mac. See you out
Talk
in
to you
Cincy,
guys
buddy.
later. Hey, long
with
night
the
ahead
merch.
still.
You guys have a great night. All right. Thank you.